Hi guys, today I'm going to present on the topic of Internet for All as a part of our NAT video presentation. We love to hear that the whole world is connected because of Internet. But when we say that, we are excluding almost 3 billion people who are still not connected. Even in 2022, there are so many underdeveloped countries and developing countries that do not have access to Internet. This still remains a problem in 2022. How do we solve this problem? What can be done about it? Let's get further into it. Now let's take a look at the problem we have: internet connectivity for all across the world. Now this problem is mostly seen in the developing countries, but even in developed countries in the remote areas, we do not have access to internet. Now, why should we solve this problem? Because today internet access is not a privilege, it is a basic necessity that everyone should have access to internet, and in turn it helps in the economic development of the nation. Now, why is internet access important and what role it plays in society? So as we already discussed, it's a basic necessity. It's not a luxury, it's not a privilege, and it is very important for the economic and human development of a nation, both in developed and developing countries. Also, it is very essential to certain services such as education, healthcare, sustainability, or security of a nation. Not only it helps in all these services, it also makes the world a smaller place. It helps us connect with everyone around the planet. Now we know how important is internet access for all of us across the world, but only about 35% of the underdeveloped countries have access to internet, this while looking at the same number in developed countries, it's almost 80%. The challenge is the internet access affordability is not good in developing countries. It is much more expensive than developed countries. If we look at the numbers right now, about 3 billion people do not have access to internet. Now this is a huge number when we talk about connecting the whole world. Nearly 3 billion people still do not have access to internet. Now, looking at the current scenario, China and India take the top two slots with highest number of internet users. But when we look at the percentage, only 50% of users in China have internet access and in India only 26%. When we look at the same numbers in other developed countries such as United States and Japan, almost 70 to 80% of the population has access to internet. So this gives us a real picture of the number of users that have access to internet in developing countries and developed countries. Now, if we look at the workable solutions that we have to solve this problem, there are multiple options we have available. One of them is satellite internet connectivity, which is currently being used by Starlink, a company headed by Elon Musk, in which internet is provided to users through satellite internet connectivity. So we do not need to lay any cables to the remote areas. They can directly access the internet through the satellite. Another solution is by government and private investments, in which we have to lay broadband cables, fiber cables, which is really expensive if we want to reach the remote areas, and the satellite option seems feasible. The third solution, which is no longer happening, is from Google. It was a project that was going on for almost 10 years, in which they used to launch balloons in the stratosphere, which used to travel around places and provide internet connectivity to certain areas. Now, looking at the future, we only see very few options that could solve this problem. That the most feasible seems to be the satellite connectivity, because laying ground cables to far-fetched areas, it's expensive and does not serve the purpose. So currently Starlink is available in 36 countries across Europe and North America, and they will be expanding to further countries. Another option is the private and government tie-ups, and they provide internet connectivity to remote areas using broadband or fiber cable. But at the same time, there are other companies as well which are working and will be uh, taking over the internet connectivity in future, and they'll be launching their service as well, including Amazon, OneWeb, and Telesat. These are all concepts of satellite connectivity, which we may see in future. That's all from me on the topic of Internet for All. Thank you everyone for listening, and if you have any queries or questions, please reach out to me on my email, which is mentioned here. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day.